And Mark, we're now going to move into our last team, the division champions in the AFC South from last year, the Houston Texans. And we're going to start, like I said in the Titans preview, with the quarterback position. And really, this one has a tale of two quarterbacks. A while ago, about 2 months ago, we had the pleasure to welcome on Jeremy Brenner from BattleRedBlog.com. You can go and check it out right now above Mark's head. I hope it popped up in the little iCard to see whether or not Deshaun Watson is going to start for the Texans, because, Mark, we are still entering training camp and entering the preseason with the question, if you are Bill O'Brien, who's your starting quarterback? Tom Savage, who it is technically right now, or Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson, 110%. I mean, no questions asked from me that. Todd Savage, I mean, sure, you could give him the chance. I said Todd. His name is Tom. Tom Savage.
Todd.
You could give him the chance, and you could see what he's got, but you've seen a bit of him already. You kind of know what you have, and it's nothing that impressive.
You know how that book ends.
And if Tom Savage is starting day one, you don't want it to turn into a Jared Goff situation where you just kind of let the not good quarterback keep playing, even though you have your now Deshaun Watson's not number one, but your highly touted quarterback sitting there waiting. And Tom Savage is not going to win you that many games. He's not necessarily going to lose you that many games because your defense is way too good, and you have a great running game with Lamar Miller, and you have these awesome wide receiving options. So you have all these pieces. Just fucking put the rookie out there. You know, and I'm not one of those people that says you got to put the rookie out there. I like the idea of letting him sit, but Bill O'Brien's got to get his guy out there. He said, Deshaun Watson's our guy. We traded up for him because that's what you did in this draft. You traded up for a quarterback. You got to give him the chance. Tom Savage, yeah, we've seen it. Brandon Weeden, we've seen it already. We want Deshaun Watson. Now, they're smart. They're not just giving him, they're not going to crown his ass right now. He's got to go out into the preseason and win the game, but 110%, I expect him to win. By game 3 of the preseason, I expect that he's got the starting job.
No, they have, to me, they are a team where I look at them, and especially on offense, well, and defense too, they are a team that has the full package around them, and they are just waiting to drop that quarterback. It's kind of like what we talk about in the NBA, where sometimes in the NBA we get those teams where it's like, you know what, they have the young talent, they have this, they're just waiting for that superstar to just bloop, plop right in, and boom, they're going to run to a playoff spot and do some great things. That's what Houston's waiting for. They have the pieces on offense, they have the pieces on defense. They're just waiting for that one guy that they can pull in with the crane, drop into that quarterback slot, and boom, not just go to the playoffs, but win in the playoffs. And that's the big question that I think it is for this team, because right now they are my front runner to win the AFC South. They're too good from front to back. Like, I'll give you an example. When I go to, and this could be a mistake on NFL.com, but I'm telling you guys, this is what I'm looking at. Usually I look at the free agent tracker, and it gives me like, oh, re-signed and who they lost and who they pulled in. All that's there is departures. Quentin Depps, A.J. Bouye, John Simon, and then a fullback. That is all they have departed right now. Nothing coming in from that free agency, but I look at the rest of this team, and they've added things like Deshaun Watson, who's probably going to be their starting quarterback. They add a Zach Cunningham, who, coming out of Vanderbilt, big things have been said about him and his leadership, and he is joining a linebacking core that already has, well, J.J. Watt's kind of a linebacker defensive end hybrid, but I'm going to count him for this sense. They already have Brian Cushing. They already have a J.J. Watt on that defense. You're also adding a Deonta Foreman in that run game. I think if he develops, it could be a 1-2 punch between Lamar Miller as your starter, Deonta Foreman hopefully overtaking Alfred Blue. So it's Miller and Foreman as your 1-2 punch. And then the wide receivers. Yeah, Hopkins and Fuller are the main 1-2. But if we can see steps up from Braxton Miller in his second year as a wide receiver, because he was a quarterback transfer from college, or a Jalen Strong, who is the number 3 wide receiver on the depth chart. This team has the pieces. They just need their fearless leader. Because let's be honest, Brock the Cock-a-doodle-doo, was not the answer to their questions. He was overpaid. They got rid of him. They said, you know what, we're going to start over. However, the thing with Tom Savage you got to realize is, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm going to say it in a different way. You are not the Patriots. You are not the Packers. You cannot sit there and say, hey, rookie, eat some bench because we got Tom Brady. Eat some bench because we've got Brett Favre out there. Mm-hmm. You don't have that out there. And because you don't have that out there, and like you said, they traded up to get him, Deshaun Watson needs to start for this team. Yeah. He needs to.
And he's, people were looking at these guys with Mahomes, mm-hmm. with Trubisky, with Deshaun Watson, trying to figure out who was the number 1 guy. And for a long time, it was Deshaun Watson. And the reason why Deshaun Watson was looked at as the number 1 guy is because he's somebody who can make, he can change a game on his own.
Look at the national championship.
Yeah. He can take over. He can get it done. Mm-hmm. He's got leadership ability. He inspires a team. He influences. Mm-hmm. He's the guy who walks in that locker room and it's his locker room. And, there's a lot of those guys on this team already. A lot of them are on defense, fortunately, so he's not too many butting heads there. But he's going to walk in and he's going to be able to take over this defense. This offense. There's no way you can tell me that Tom Savage right now is in control of this offense.
No, he's not.
You can't convince me. You can't do it.
I get the point where he's like, well, you know what? I'm going to come in here like I'm going to win the job. But let's be honest. I can say it because I'm not on that team and I'm not Tom Savage. You're not going to win that job. It is Deshaun Watson's job to lose. In my head, that is.
No, I agree.
Because you don't trade up for that quarterback and then say, whoa, you got to win it from this guy over here.
What's been the big issue for Bill O'Brien? Quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's had everything he needs except for a quarterback. That's why they paid so much money to get Brock Osweiler. That's why they then got rid of Brock Osweiler and traded up in the draft to get Deshaun Watson. They need a quarterback. He can't now sit there and say, yeah, but Tom Savage is going to start the first 5 games. Because you need a quarterback. A quarterback is what is putting or threatening Bill O'Brien's job. Mm-hmm. He needs that number 1 guy, and Deshaun Watson should be that number 1 guy. No questions asked for me.
No, and he should be. And the one thing that I'm looking at right now is on battleredblog.com. I'm looking at some guys that they put down as could be breakout candidates for the Texans this season, and just going through some of them, Deshaun Watson's on the list. However, breakout candidate for a guy who you were saying should be the starter.
It's not a breakout. You expect it.
There are 3 guys on this 2-part article, and I'll leave both of them in the description for you guys. There are 3 names that I am thinking, 2 on offense, 1 on defense, that I'm like, yes, I want to see breakout performances from this season. 2 are rookies, 1's a vet that I've already mentioned. The first one's Braxton Miller. I want to see a little bit more from you. I want to see you progress more into the wide receiver position where he had 15 catches for 99 yards. I want to see you become what you were a little bit in college. Remember that run against Virginia Tech where he showed the Madden moves with the spin? I know the NFL is a lot tougher than college because the guys are bigger, better, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
However, I want to see more of that. I want you to see you evade guys in the open field after getting the ball. The other 2, like I said, Deonta Foreman, he's probably my number 1. Only because out of the running backs past the top ones, I love Deonta Foreman. I thought that the team that he would fit best with is the New York Giants, New York Football Giants. And I thought he'd fit well there because they're a team that really needs a number 1 running back and needs someone to lean on. Yeah. However, the Texans have that guy. If he can just break out and have a phenomenal season as the second back behind Lamar Miller, then the last one, the guy I mentioned, is Zach Cunningham. However, how much of a role is he going to play when he's already going to be playing behind Brian Cushing and behind McKinney on the linebacking core?
Yeah, but that linebacking core has so much talent that getting a guy who can be a change of pace is going to be great. And talking about defense, and this isn't a breakout type of guy because Jadeveon Clowney, we all know what to expect out of him. But he's
healthy.
Exactly. Staying healthy is important, and we want to see a full season of work because when he's out there, he's a monster.
Yep.
And you pair him or put him opposite essentially of J.J. Watt. It's deadly. Quarterbacks will have no time to do anything out there. And that's what the Houston Texans lucked into when they were able to draft a guy like Clowney. So there's so much to be excited about on this team. I was talking about how we're both really high on the Tennessee Titans, but the Houston Texans are kind of the safe pick to win the division.
I am huge. Like out of the AFC South teams, I am huge on the Texans. I have them 11-5 right now. And it's one of those things coming, like I look at their, just like we did for Jacksonville, I look at their schedule just going to the Week 7 bye. And, I mean, running through that schedule, Jacksonville, they should win. The Bengals, not going to be that much of a challenge for them. Yeah, you lose to the Patriots in Foxborough, but you beat the Titans. You lose to the Chiefs, you beat the Browns. You're sitting there 4-2 heading into your bye week. Then after that, their next loss is Week 13. I have them after the bye winning 4 or 5 straight. This is a team that could go on a run this year and could get to 11-5, could get to 10-6 and win the division, win the AFC. My big question for them is if they win the division again, go to the playoffs, the big one is, can you win a playoff game? Can you win a playoff game? Because it has been a while since they've won. I don't think they've ever won. That's why I say it has been a while since you've won a playoff game. This is usually a team that makes it, and then boom, you're out.
Well, the Houston Texans, when you're looking at this team and you're really kind of thinking about how high they can climb, how far they can go, playoffs is not out of the question for sure. They have won playoff games, and they will continue to win playoff games.
3. I just looked it up. I forgot they won the Raider game because Derek Carr was injured.
Yeah.
They've also beaten the Bengals.
I was going to say they're famous for beating the Bengals. They have won these playoff games, and they will be able to continue winning them now that they have a good quarterback out there. Now, don't get too crazy out there. We're not looking at our rookie quarterback to win the Super Bowl or anything like that. But this is a team that can win the wild card round. When they get to a division round, they might get bounced out, but only because these are some of the best teams and they have a little bit more to go.
And the reason why I have them 11-5 right now, because obviously some things could change before we get to our chisel it in stone. Like we said during the Titans preview, this is kind of the 1.0 of our predictions that we are kind of putting down on paper. The thing that is going to be most beneficial to the Texans this year is, yes, they'll have a rookie quarterback, but it will be the only rookie quarterback that has the most complete team around him.
And he's probably the only rookie quarterback that's going to be playing.
Except for Trubisky.
Trubisky, I think he's going to have to wait a little bit. Not super long, but he's going to have to wait some games.
At least until Week 8.
Yeah.
However, he's going to play. I think Trubisky could play at least half the season.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Second half of the season, we're talking about Trubisky, but I think Watson's the only one that plays all the way through. All he has to do, in my mind, he doesn't have to rip the cover off the ball. All he has to do is, and I know I'm using a baseball term there, but all he has to do is not turn over the ball. Just don't turn over the ball. Let your defense do your thing. Put points up on the board. Boom, you'll win.
I mean, you've got great run game, great wide receivers, a great defense. It's simple. It should be simple for you to go out there, win games.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Get the division. Go ahead and get it. It's yours for the taking. Tennessee Titans are going to be there competing with you. The Colts are in the picture as well. But you guys won it last year. You have a better team this year because you have a quarterback now. You should be able to do it. You should be able to do it. No reason why you can't.
My only question for this team, and I said it once, I'll say it again, is the playoffs. Because I look at, now that I'm actually looking at since 2011 when they're, because they've only been to the playoffs 4 times, 2011, 2012, and then 15 and 16. Let's be honest. They would only have 2 playoff wins if Derek Carr was healthy last year. Do we agree on that?
Probably.
Do you think they still win that game if Derek Carr is healthy and playing?
No, I don't believe in Brock Osweiler.
No. But they do have 3 right now. I don't see them playing another team like the Bengals. I don't have the Bengals in there. I don't see them playing a team like a Raiders team without their quarterback. Right now, I think the team that they could play is maybe like a Chiefs again, who the last time they met them in the playoffs, 30-0, you lost at home to the Chiefs.
But that team had no quarterback.
Yeah.
So, to be fair.
But you'll have a quarterback this time, but he'll be a rookie quarterback. How does he play in his first preseason or postseason game? That's the question to me. It's not a question of the Texans getting to the postseason. It's how are they going to perform in the postseason? And that is the true question for this team. This could be the beginning of this team where maybe in the next few years, next 2-3 years, I'd say 1-2 years is what I'm thinking. This being the first one, then the 19 and 20, where after this season we're looking at like, okay, within the next 2 years, this team could be an AFC championship team, could be a Super Bowl contender, depending on how. And like Mark said, I don't want to jump ahead and crown their asses before they get there, but depending how Deshaun Watson looks in his first year with the Houston Texans.
No, I agree, and it'll be fun to watch him play. He's definitely a Rookie of the Year contender to start off. So let's see how it goes.
I want to ask you this, kind of like what I did for the Titans, and I think I know your answer, but I'm going to ask it anyways. What is your percentage, because you mentioned it during the Titans preview, your percentage that Deshaun Watson wins the Rookie of the Year? I know you're saying that he's your favorite, but what's the percentage? Is it an 100% you think he'll be automatically it?
No, it's not 100% because I think Leonard Fournette has potential too, depending on what he does in Jacksonville. So that's there. And hell, I mean, even if Trubisky could start day one, he's got an opportunity. But let's comment on that. Sorry, Bears fans. But I do think he's got it pretty close. I say it's like a 75% chance he's got it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the top 3 guys I'm looking at for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And, of course, this could change depending on injuries and stuff. No particular order. Deshaun Watson, Leonard Fournette, Corey Davis. They're the 3 that I think have the best shot to
all
take home
division.
the heart. They are all in the same division. I didn't even think about that until you just mentioned it. All here in the AFC South. But we're going to turn it on to you guys. Let us know what you guys think about the Texans. Who should start at quarterback? We're kind of leaning towards a Deshaun Watson because I don't believe in Tom Savage. He is not the starter for you guys. What do you think will happen if the Texans get to the playoffs? How can they progress into the playoffs this year? Or do you see it maybe being another, we made it and we got bounced out in the wild card round for Houston? I want to thank you guys for either watching the podcast on YouTube or listening to us on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, or Stitcher. We will be back next week to preview and end our previews with the NFC South, and we'll be done with all our previews for 2017. We are just over a week away from football. Thank you guys for listening, and as always, have a good day, everybody.